Hello, my name is Bill Cooper, your host for Toro's Operation and Safety Program. Today, we'll be taking a look at the Toro Reelmaster 6000 series fairway mowers. The 6000 series consists of the Reelmaster 6700 and 6500 mowers. Since these mowers are similar from an operational standpoint, we'll use the 6700 in this program. The 6700 is a four-wheel drive unit, which includes a rollover protective structure, or ROPS, and a seat belt. The seat belt must be worn at all times when operating a unit equipped with a ROPS. Before we take a closer look at the Reelmaster 6700, there are a few things that you'll need to know. First, it's extremely important that you complete the turf maintenance equipment safety education program that is available from your Toro distributor. Make sure you also read the operator's manual, located in this tube on the right side of the seat. It includes detailed instructions on safety, operation, and maintenance. This program is not a substitute for a thorough reading of the manual. When operating a mower, it's important to wear substantial leather shoes or work boots. Avoid loose-fitting clothing or jewelry that could get caught in moving parts. Hard hats, safety glasses, and hearing protection are always a good idea. Make sure you check your local ordinances, insurance, and course regulations. In this program, we'll cover the Reelmaster controls, operation, interlock systems, mowing techniques, and general maintenance. Your attention is important. The Reelmaster 6000 series are precision pieces of mowing equipment. When you understand its operation, you can get the most out of its capabilities and operate it safely. All the controls you need to operate the Reelmaster 6000 series mower are within easy reach of the operator. To get on the machine safely, use the step on either side of the operator's platform. You'll notice the seat is designed for maximum operator comfort. This seat adjusting lever on the left adjusts the seat forward and back. The spring tension knob here adjusts for each operator's weight. Turn the knob clockwise to increase tension and counterclockwise to decrease tension. The traction pedal is located on the operator's platform. Press the top of the pedal to move forward and the bottom to move in reverse. The forward speed limiter is next to the traction pedal. Preset the pedal to limit the amount it can be depressed in the forward direction to maintain a consistent mowing speed. Two brake pedals operate individual wheel brakes to aid in better side hill traction. We'll cover this in more detail later. A locking pin connects the pedals for parking brake operation and transport. Here on the steering tower is the parking brake latch. To set, press on the brake pedals and pull back on the parking brake latch. To release, depress both pedals until the parking brake latch retracts. Here is your speedometer. It indicates the ground speed at which the machine is traveling. This is the diagnostic light, and it has several different functions, which are explained in the operator's manual. One important function it has is the glow plug indicator light. When the light goes out, you can start the engine. Here on the front of the steering tower is the 3-position key switch. We'll cover this switch in more detail when we start the unit. To the right of the operator seat, you'll find the control gauges and the controls you'll need to operate the Reelmaster 6700. This is the joystick for raising and lowering the cutting units. This also starts and stops the reels. More on this in the Mowing Techniques chapter. Here is the throttle. Move it forward to increase and back to decrease engine speed. The unit should be at full throttle when mowing. Here is your fuel gauge. This is the cluster gauge that contains the charge indicator. If it illuminates, the charging circuit has a malfunction. Here is the engine oil pressure warning light. If this light comes on when operating the unit, shut it down immediately and contact your maintenance supervisor. This is the engine coolant temperature warning light. If the warning light should ever come on, shut the engine down. Here are the real enable-disable switches. The center switch is the master that enables all 7 cutting units. This switch is for the right rear, and this switch is for the left rear. We're now ready to begin operating the RealMaster 6700. Make sure you have your seatbelt on. To start, have the parking brake on and your foot off the traction pedal. Turn the key switch to the on position. Once the glow plug light is off, turn the key to the start position. You can release the key when the engine starts. Do not crank the engine for longer than 15 seconds. Now, you're ready to drive off. The RealMaster 6000 series mowers use diesel fuel. The fuel tank is located here on the left side of the machine. Running out of fuel will cause needless downtime and will require air to be bled from the system. This should only be done by your maintenance staff. Never fuel up in an enclosed area. Fuel vapors are flammable, so keep away from any ignition source. Only fill to within 1 inch from the top of the fill tank. There are several other checks that must be performed before heading out. Check the hydraulic fluid level. The tank is here on the right side. Clean around the filler neck and cap to prevent any contamination entering the hydraulic tank. Remove the cap and dipstick. The oil should be within 1/4 inch of this mark. To check the engine oil, unlatch the latches on each side of the machine and lift the hood back. Remove the dipstick here on the left-hand side of the engine. If the oil level is not within the notched area, remove this cap on the top of the engine and add the recommended oil. This is the coolant expansion tank. The coolant should be between these 2 lines. Never remove the radiator cap on a hot engine. Coolant under pressure can cause serious injury. Here is the bypass valve. If you have to push or tow the machine, you will need to rotate this valve 90 degrees in either direction. Never push or tow the machine faster than 2 to 3 miles per hour. Now that you're familiar with the controls and pre-operation checks, move off to an open area to practice operating the RealMaster 6700 under qualified supervision. Have the reels in the up or transport position and practice going forward and reverse. Stop the machine by taking your foot off the traction pedal. To stop more quickly, take your foot off the traction pedal and press on the brake. Practice driving around trees or bushes and between objects with the cutting units up. Lower the cutting units and practice operating the machine around bunkers or ponds so that you get a feel for how far they extend. Never back up with the cutting units lowered, or they could be damaged. Never drive on any hills that have not been approved by your supervisor. Never go down an unknown hill because it may be too steep for safe operation and could cause a dangerous situation. On slopes, drive slowly to maintain steering control. Avoid sharp turns on hills to prevent rollovers. Turf conditions can affect the machine's stability. Wet grass and undulating turf are conditions that can cause accidents. If you operate the Reelmaster 6000 series on a public street, always have the required safety signs and equipment in accordance with local laws and regulations. Remember that the Reelmaster 6700 is a precision mowing machine, so always drive slowly in rough areas. Accidents can happen to anyone. The most common causes are excessive speed, sudden turns, uneven terrain, and not stopping the engine before leaving the operator's seat. Cold capsules or prescription drugs may cause drowsiness, as can alcohol and other drugs. Stay alert and stay safe. Failure to do so could result in serious injury. The Reelmaster 6000 series is equipped with several interlock switches, which should be checked daily. Begin with the machine on level ground with the cutting units down. To check the traction pedal interlock, depress the traction pedal. Try starting the engine. It should not crank. To check the enable-disable switch interlock, flip the switch forward and try to start the engine. Again, it should not crank. Another interlock check is the seat switch. Have the parking brake off and start the engine. Lift yourself off the seat. Depress the traction pedal slowly. The engine should stop in 1 to 2 seconds. If any of these interlock checks do not work, do not operate the machine. Report the situation to your maintenance supervisor. There are a few mowing techniques that will help you achieve a professional-looking fairway. When arriving at the area to be mowed, shut down the machine. Check the area for any obstacles, such as signs, golf clubs, or any other trash that could damage a cutting unit. After you have checked out the area, you're ready to start mowing. Make sure that you do not drop the reels until you are on the fairway. To get the straight line cut and striping that is desirable for fairways, find a tree or other object and drive straight towards it. As soon as the front reels reach the edge of the fairway, pull back on the joystick to lift the cutting units to the turnaround position. Once you are off the fairway, perform a teardrop turn to quickly line you up for your next pass. Another mowing technique is cross-cut mowing. As before, drop your cutting units when you're over the fairway. Use an object in the distance to help you maintain a straight line. Mowing around the perimeter of the fairway reestablishes the sharp edge between the rough and the fairway. Stay far enough away from bunkers or water hazards so that you don't damage a cutting unit, the machine, or cause a more serious accident. If your wheels should start to slip when driving up a hill, back off slightly on the traction pedal to put more power on the drive wheels. Individual turning brakes may also be used to help maintain traction. For example, in some slope conditions, the uphill wheel slips and loses traction. If this occurs, depress the uphill turn pedal gradually and intermittently until the uphill wheel stops slipping. If a person appears in or near the area where you're operating, lift the cutting units and move off, and stop the machine. Don't start up again until the area is cleared. The Reelmaster is a one-person machine. Never let anyone else ride on the machine with you. This is extremely dangerous and could result in serious injury. Use caution and slow down on rough terrain. Approach rough areas at a reduced speed to avoid damaging the cutting unit or cause a loss of control. If anything should get caught in a reel, make sure that you stop the machine, set the parking brake, turn the engine off, and remove the key. Use a stick or other object to remove the item caught. Never put your hand into a reel. And remember, if anything looks, smells, or sounds unusual, or if something feels different, bring it to the attention of your maintenance supervisor immediately. After mowing, always clean the machine and check it over. Turn off the engine, set the parking brake, and remove the key. Unlatch and tilt the hood back. Using compressed air, clean around the engine compartment. Unlatch the oil cooler like this, and use compressed air to clean the radiator screen and oil cooler. Clean the air cleaner assembly. The air cleaner may need to be cleaned more often in dirty or dusty conditions. Once the machine has cooled down, wash the unit using low water pressure. Proper lubrication should occur after cleaning to minimize corrosion. Refer to the operator's manual for the location of these fittings. After cleaning, it is recommended that the machine be inspected for possible hydraulic or other fluid leaks. If you suspect a hydraulic leak, use a piece of cardboard, not your hand, to search for the leak. Hydraulic fluid escaping under pressure can penetrate the skin and cause serious injury. Periodically check the tire pressure. The tire pressure should be between 12 and 15 psi, front and rear. Incorrect tire pressure could affect the traction, performance, and after-cut appearance you receive from your Reelmaster 6700. If you need to jack up the Reelmaster, use the front axle here, or the rear axle here. Always remember to use jack stands when working on a unit that's jacked up. Use common sense, and please, remember the following points. Read the operator's manual. This program is not a substitute. Your Reelmaster is a precision mower, so treat it with caution and respect. Practice under supervision until you're familiar with the Reelmaster's operation. Most accidents are caused by speed, uneven terrain, and not stopping the engine before leaving the seat. Refrain from using drugs and alcohol. Use caution at all times. And dress properly. Check the interlock switches and fluids every day before mowing. Stop mowing when a person appears near the mowing area. Remember, no passengers. And make sure you bring the Reel Master to your supervisor if anything seems unusual. Follow these simple procedures and your Reel Master will do everything you need it to do. I'm Bill Cooper. Thank you for joining me for a look at the Toro Reel Master 6000 series.